welcome. Welcome to our very first all virtual downtown meetup. As you know, my name is Bahana Keen and I'm the Economic Development Officer for the City of Springfield. And so to cut down on background noise, I've started everybody here in mute. So if you are speaking, just remember to take yourself off of mute, and that's just to cut down on background noise. And so everybody's looks like you've got your name in the chat. I was going to make a quick reminder about that. We already did it, which is awesome. So first of all, I want to welcome our city manager, Nancy Newton, to her very first downtown meetup. And, you know, usually they're a lot of fun and we get to, you know, eat delicious food and, you know, break off and chat with each other. But, you know, you get a sense of the community that we have here. So welcome, and please share a little bit about yourself and your role.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you for including me in this meeting. I'm very happy to be here. And of course, you know, what a weird format, and what a weird, how long has this been? I started in April of 2020, and I remember I made a list for myself of the things that I wanted to do. And one of those things was going around and visiting businesses. And then the whole world went upside down, and, you know, I had to do a lot of other stuff that I didn't plan on doing, but that's okay. I still have that on my list, and I'm just doing it in a slower manner. But, you know, we're so delighted to have everybody here. And, you know, for people that might be looking at this recording later on, I'm just want to really commend our businesses in Springfield for their resiliency, for their creativity, for the fact that just the way that they reach out together and help each other. It's one of those amazing things to see that I think makes our city really special, is just how united people are in helping each other and helping just the whole community get through some tough times. So that's pretty much what I wanted to thank people for, and also just gratitude for everybody here, and all of the work that everybody's been doing individually. I mean, whether it be remotely or from your office, the work has continued. It's not like everything came to a screeching halt. You know, we've had a phenomenally busy year in the city of Springfield. There's been a lot of development. There's been a lot of growth. We have a lot of new programs that are starting as far as development wise and economic development. So we have a lot of really good stories to talk about. So that's kind of focusing on the positive is what I'm setting out to do for this next phase in the year. And we have a lot of great stories to tell. So let's turn it back to Bahana and Courtney. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. Excuse me. All right, so during the meeting today, I encourage folks to ask questions. If they'd like to, go ahead and just either wave your hand like I usually do, or use the actual raise hand feature, or you're more than welcome to put your question in the chat and we'll try to get to it in a timely fashion. And we're also going to leave a little bit of time after the meeting today to ask additional questions or follow up, or just have a conversation about what other topics we need to be talking about. So something I'd like you to be thinking about during the meeting today is, what are your areas of concern with regards to COVID, or anything else for that matter, for about the next 90 days? It's kind of the thought that I've been having, and I know that we have been trying to focus on what are the things that we can kind of plan for and assess and kind of plan ahead for. So if you feel comfortable to share, please do. If not, please feel free to you know, reach out to one of us who thinks might be able to assist you with those questions or concerns, or send it to me and I'll try to get you to the right place. And so there may be questions that we can't immediately answer during this meeting, but we will follow up with answers or information as we're able to after the meeting. Sorry about that. I was trying to scroll my talking points down. I also plan to send out an update after this meeting to the larger group with this recording as well. So you'll get a copy of these slides with the information to contact folks if you want to follow up, or you'll just have it for your records. So I do want to say thank you before we really kick this off, and to say thank you to Lane County for being here, Lane County Public Health, to the Chamber, to the Springfield Public Library, Nancy, Neil, CLW, and we get to see Jaime today, which is awesome. It's his first time at our downtown meetup. And then Robert will be joining us a little bit later from SBDC. He had a meeting for the first half of this meeting. So first thing I want to share with you all is a quick PPE update. We've been doing deliveries and pickups of PPE for small businesses, which began as 50 and have extended out to employees up to 500. So, excuse me, essentially that means any business in Springfield is eligible for this. So that's pretty great. At this time, we served nearly 500 businesses, and we had our first PPE open house last week. We served 32 businesses during that one, and we were able to give out the remaining stock of our spray and our thermometers and everything like that. But we do still have a lot of it left, so please feel free to reach out if you need PPE. We do have masks, wipes, sanitizer, and gloves available, large quantities of them as well. So happy to help and happy to either do a delivery or a pickup once a month for your business. So next, I wanted to share that, as you all know, Feature Friday is one of my favorite things that I get to do, which is a Friday posting on our Discover Downtown Facebook page to feature a different downtown business each week or each month, just kind of depending on the availability of businesses to work with me to do that. So I'm hoping to kick it off coming up soon. I want to do features on the upcoming holidays. So whether that's, whatever holiday you celebrate, could be Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, any upcoming holidays. I'm looking for businesses to reach out to me to volunteer to do a Feature Friday, and otherwise I might just pop by your business and see if we can chat for a little bit, and I can feature you on the Downtown Springfield website. So, and then looking to the holidays, we're also exploring a couple of different ways that the city can potentially partner with you guys. So please stay tuned for information coming from us on that as well. I also want to mention that the Discover Downtown website is alive and well, but if it's been a little bit since you visited it, I encourage you to do so. Poke around, consider attending an event or submitting an event that's happening down here in Springfield. Of course, we're light on events because of COVID, but there are some fun things happening with obviously safety in mind and all that. So feel free to do that. And if your business is in the directory, I also encourage you to check it out. Make sure the information is still up to date and accurate. And if it's not, let me know and I can send you a fillable PDF of the information. So we can get y'all updated so your information is accurate. The last thing that I want to mention on the city end is that Mayor Van Gordon has begun hosting a quarterly visits with Mayor Van Gordon in a virtual forum. So the next one will be Tuesday, October 5th. From 6 to 7 p.m. via Zoom, and you can register and attend via the City of Springfield's website. This effort seeks to build new ways for the community members to learn more about city efforts and who we are. The platform is pretty casual. It's just an easy way to come and kind of chat with our mayor and hear our ideas, things that are happening, or share with him your thoughts. So now I'd like to turn it over to Courtney Griesel for a couple of other updates here at the city.
Perfect. Thanks, Bahana. Do you want to advance the slide a couple just so we can get your contact info? Perfect. Just so that you have that ready to go. Just some pieces that we want to remind folks about. First, I also want to note a big thank you to the Chamber for the help with the personal protective equipment handouts. And Jaime as well. There have been a lot of driving around the region and open hours for folks to come in, and it just wouldn't be possible to do that without the partners. It's been just a really bright spot on a not so bright and fun experience, but we're thankful for that partnership. Something else that takes a lot of partnership is really how we approach outdoor seating, and it is coming into the rainy season. So we want to make sure that folks are thinking about having the right permits in place, especially if they're wanting to put tents up. So we continue to have options for cafe seating out front of your restaurants, even behind restaurants and alleys if you're interested. And we want to make sure that you get a head start if you need to do any tenting going into the winter. So you can feel free to reach out to either Vahana or myself, and with the contact information up on the screen, and we can get you in contact with the right staff in development and public works. The staff over there are great. They understand that you're going through some unique times, and that winter and fall restaurant dining definitely needs tents sometimes. So they're at the ready to help. And that's really just sort of the bigger permit reminders for folks as you're viewing this presentation. Vahana, I'll let you keep going.
Thank you, Courtney. All right, so now I am going to turn it over to Lane County. I didn't know if Jason was going to be able to make it today, so I'm very thrilled that he is. So I only have Austin's contact info here. However, maybe Jason prefers that, or he can put it in the chat if he would like to. So I'll turn it over to you two.
Austin, what do you have to share first?
You want to go ahead and start? I think everyone wants to know about public health, what's going on with the pandemic, what's to come, if you can predict any of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will give you a detailed prediction out 90 days. I think that's what was asked. All joking aside, it has been a hectic last couple months. I think the last time I talked to you all, it was right before the Delta surge kind of hit. And perhaps we were all a little bit more optimistic than maybe we should have been. It really has been a tough time for our community, and certainly for everyone responding to this and who's been affected to this. Before I get started, though, I'm going to let you know that I put my 4-month-year-old daughter. I don't know how you say that. 4 months old daughter down for a nap right before this meeting, and I tried to time it just right, but she does this sort of full body kick right before she wakes up and fusses, and I just heard one of those kicks. So if I have to just run down and grab her, I'll be right back. So I'll try to keep this as brief as possible and not get too granular for you. But essentially what we saw, about 3 weeks ago was what we believe was our peak of this latest Delta surge, where we were averaging over 200 cases a day. We had over 150 people in the hospital. Just kind of a dire situation. We've had around 70 deaths due to COVID in that time period, in those last 3 to 4 weeks. So pretty tough time. Thankfully, though, we are on the downturn. Just today, we only saw 79 new cases. And that has been a trend that we've noticed now going on about 3 weeks. That is consistent with what's being reported around the state and nationally. So good news, I think, in the foreseeable future, and in terms of this latest surge, I think we're going to wind down. I think we're going to get into a steady sort of double-digit case numbers. And why that is happening? Well, I think the Delta variant has picked its low-hanging fruit. So we look at those individuals who have not yet been sick, individuals who have not been vaccinated, and that's really the sort of pool that we're worried about. Those are the folks that are most likely to get sick. And going into this latest surge, we had around 112,000 people who were kind of within that category. And now we're down to about 91,000 people. So if you look at some of the social habits and activities of those individuals, that's one of the reasons why I think that this latest surge is starting to wind down, is just by virtue of the fact that those folks who are most likely to contract the virus from activities or most likely to spread the virus have kind of already been involved in that process. And so now we're sort of thinning it down and moving on. In terms of our outbreak scenario, we are still seeing some pretty heavy outbreaks, especially within our long-term care facilities and our daycare facilities. Now, I will put a little asterisk beside that, though, because due to our surge protocol, we're only monitoring individuals over the age of 59 and under the age of 18 in terms of the contact tracing, investigation, and all those different sort of facets. So obviously, if you're going to look at outbreaks, that's consistent with who we are monitoring. But within that long-term care facility outbreak scenario, that is resulting in quite a few hospitalizations and the majority of our deaths. And then in terms of our child care facilities, really most of our PED cases or under 18 cases are resulting from either extracurricular activities associated with those age groups and or those sort of child care facilities. Thankfully, most of our daycares and most of our long-term care facilities have been very receptive to working with us. And we've had a pretty good relationship in that process of trying to slow those cases down. So I do expect to see that rise sort of table off and for us to be on the decrease or the downward turn very, very quickly on those outbreaks. So far, about 351 cases associated with those long-term care facilities. And right now, specifically with daycares, I wasn't able to get all the extracurricular activity information, but about 30 cases specific to daycares themselves, and that would be just the PED cases, not including the workers as well. So looking at where we kind of go from here, obviously, as I mentioned, I think that the pool of individuals now shrinking down to about 91,000 people who are the most susceptible to getting COVID, to transmitting COVID, that shrinking will really help us out. The factors that can kind of play into us kind of going back to a surge sort of scenario, new variants, the MU or MU variant is out there. We've had some cases detected in Oregon. It's not widespread yet, we don't think, but that could play into it. Reinfection happens in about 30% of our cases, individuals who've already had COVID. About 30% of them are susceptible to reinfection within the first 90 days of after recovering from COVID. So something to keep in mind in terms of how we can get back into a surge situation. And then certainly breakthrough cases from individuals who are fully vaccinated still getting sick. And that's always a big topic, a hot topic. The public wants to know about, how many people are fully vaccinated and are still getting COVID. How many people who are hospitalized have been fully vaccinated? Overall, about 80% of our cases are unvaccinated. Overall COVID cases, 20% are fully vaccinated. So a different statistic than I think that, what we were seeing back in the late spring on the cusp of the vaccination effort. And certainly something that I think, we're doing our best to be as transparent and forthright about and really work with our community on that bit. In terms of hospitalization, about 17% of our hospitalizations from June 1st till now are breakthrough cases or fully vaccinated cases. And then about 10% of our deaths are fully vaccinated individuals. So not the clean cut statistics that, you would like to see in terms of getting messages out there about getting people vaccinated, et cetera. But nevertheless, those are the numbers that we have to work with. And I think it's important to just lay it out there. I think I'm just going to pause right there and we can go on. I can dig in deeper if folks would like, if they have any questions, or I can stick around until after the meeting is done. Dr. Ludke, just in closing, I guess, Dr. Ludke had predicted an 8 to 10 week surge. So we are well within that window for what we'd expect to see on the downward sort of trend. And I think that that's going to continue from the conversations I've had with our epi team, our epidemiological team, and our contact tracers and other folks who have a little bit more insight into how this is all working. I think that we can expect, to get back down to sort of mid-pandemic or non-surge levels by the first week of October. And again, we don't have a crystal ball, that could change, but just based on the current trajectory, that's kind of what we're seeing. So I'll go ahead and pause there, and I'll be available for a further conversation or any other questions if need be.
I have to say that it's hard to feel too blue about some of the topic when you hear the baby in the background. kind of makes you feel warm and fuzzy. So thank you for that. A question
She has certainly been a nice reprieve for me personally at
a
the end
bright
of the
spot.
long day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think one question we might have a little is if a business is trying to continue to understand guidance. They're not always rules now, they're just guidance. We have a great resource with the Chamber of Commerce with the Back to Business Guide, which was done last year, but I feel like, Bonnie, it's still really valuable overview of the guidelines. But if there are specific questions, should they contact Lane County? Is there still a resource more regionally?
Yeah, I think that if, we are absolutely a go-to for local businesses, and I think Austin can back me up on this. If we don't have the answer at the tip of our tongue, we can find it for you. I would say that folks can certainly contact me, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but I can find them out for you. And we have people on our team who do have those answers, and we can work to get those for our local businesses. And they, compared to sort of the one-off questions that we get from the public, which are in the hundreds per day, the questions we get from business are really much more manageable. And that's something that I think we can absolutely devote time to and really dig into and make sure that you all get the resources you need. I also, one last thing, Courtney, I'll say, I guess just for the edification of our business community and for you all, our big sort of message going forward, and this started really back in June, but it's going to be continuing through this fall, is around this sort of personal risk assessment, just understanding that these sort of wide reaching mandates, whether it be masking, vaccination, whatever they are, when it comes to Lane County Public Health, your local public health authority, what we're really focusing on is trying to educate our community on how to prevent infectious illness, and focus in on each individual sort of assessing their personal risk, assessing the risk for their family, and making that educated decision them personally. So regardless of what a politician or official or anybody else is kind of saying, being able to understand that piece, you personally, and then make those choices that are going to slow the spread of whatever we're talking about, whether it be COVID, influenza, no matter what it is, just really making those health-based decisions. And that's going to be the messaging going forward. And I hope that supports our communities, it supports our businesses, and it supports kind of getting back to that piece about, that sort of pre-pandemic life.
That is helpful. And I think it kind of leads Austin to the next part of that question, which is based on all of that and people needing to sort of approach this the way they best can. What are you seeing in other communities, or how are you seeing small businesses do innovative things to kind of keep charging along?
Yeah, and we get the question a lot of how long do I need to alter my business practices? How long do I need to be managing COVID? And I think what we're seeing is that those that are most resilient and those that are most successful are still operating in ways just like they were last April, right? When we had our first big surge. Those that have gone back to operating in a way that they were able to do pre-pandemic are having to quickly shift back and forth, or facing other issues that prevent them from doing that smoothly, or that just create additional costs or labor issues. So what I am recommending to all the businesses that reach out is operate in a way that makes you the most resilient. It's not going to be in the way you were operating pre-pandemic, most likely, right? So we're still seeing a lot of online ordering. We're still seeing a lot of takeout. If you're a manufacturer, they're still implementing distancing as much as possible, mask wearing, still encouraging employees to get vaccinated to the greatest extent possible. They're not operating in a way like the pandemic has gone away or has decreased, because obviously based on Jason's update, in a lot of ways, it's just continued to escalate in not productive, not positive ways. I would say more than just dealing with direct impacts of COVID outbreaks or the pandemic, we're hearing from more and more businesses who are dealing with the sort of rippling effects in terms of a workforce shortage or supply chain issues. The supply chain issues have come to a head recently in communities like Florence, especially, where they have more tourism, more visitors than ever before, paired with less businesses, smaller workforce, and just a decreased ability to handle that influx of visitors. So one of the things that's been, I would say, incredibly helpful, because we're seeing the supply chain issue come up over and over again, is help us understand specifically where you're feeling the supply chain issue most. We work with a network of partners. Courtney's familiar with a lot of them. That help us identify new distributors, new sources of goods, and so that we can be as focused as possible in addressing your issue, right? We want to have a tailored approach to what those problems are. The workforce issue is one that obviously everyone's facing. I think everyone's trying to figure out how to solve, and that's a wicked problem. I think there's been some hope that since the federal unemployment increase has expired, that we'll see people moving back into positions they previously weren't looking at. I don't know if we're far enough away from that expiration date to know if that's true. I know businesses are still trying to hire. It feels like every business you drive by or you walk by, there's a hiring sign up. So I guess what I'm saying is these issues you're facing aren't unique to you and your business. There are a lot of people facing the same issue, and there are a lot of people working on how to solve that issue. So don't hesitate to reach out. To Jason's point, please use us as a resource, whether you have a small question or a complicated question. You're busy enough as it is. You don't need to be hunting for the right answer. We can definitely do that for you. We get a lot of these questions already, so a lot of times we have it at our fingertips. So I hope that's helpful. Please use us as a resource. You can reach out there, like Jason said. If we don't know the answer, we can certainly find out for you, whether it's someone else in public health or working with our state partners.
Well, and I think it just gets to the point, whether you're here watching this live or you're watching it on a recording, our hope is that you look around the screen and what you're seeing is who those partners might be that you could reach out to, who will understand the context of what you're talking about and be able to engage. And actually one of those I want to mention, Mayor Van Gordon joined us, and just want to say hello. And I think that also shows in and of itself how important the small business community is to us and our downtown businesses, that we really do care. We really are here live or recording. We just want to make sure we're communicating with you. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Bahana, do you want to take it away? I realized I was taking up a lot of airtime for a moment there, but
That is just fine. It was really good information, and I echo thank you, Mayor Van Gordon, for joining us today. I know the small business community is really important to you, so I do appreciate you coming today. I'm actually just going to keep it going. I'm going to let Mark take it over. We're going to let him share his screen.
Okay, I think you need to stop sharing then, mate.
Oh.
Oh no, I can do that.
It worked.
Okay. All right. G'day, everybody. Mark from the Springfield Public Library here. Come on, present. There we go. This is a presentation that I gave the other day in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to do it in about 5. So Springfield Public Library, what we've been doing during the pandemic. Just in terms of the library itself, we pivoted completely during the pandemic. We started running books up and down the stairs. We ran about more than 40,000 items down the stairs to cars. We started a bunch of new things. We did computer appointments. Now we are open 6 hours, Monday through Saturday, Mondays and Thursdays, 1 to 6, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 10 to 3. Our phones are open 10 to 5 every day, 541-726-3766. If there is anything in this very brief little presentation that you would like more information on, please reach out to me. Again, the library, 726-3766, or direct to me, 726-2238. And I'm more than happy to set up a Zoom, or if we can do it in person, I will come and show you a few of these things that I'm talking about right now. Things we've done with the businesses. We are still running summer reading and those kind of things with our dynamic library billboards and our scavenger hunts. You may be part of those. You may have seen those. The dynamic library billboards have various little codes and little posters showing things that are coming up at the library, highlighting businesses. Just a quick little anecdote about those. I had a woman, Springfield resident, give me a call. She said, we've lived here for 6 years. We've never done a downtown walk. And during using that scavenger hunt, they walked from Chuck and Alice all the way down to Jean Marie's. So they saw nearly the entirety of Main Street, and I make them cross the road a couple of times. So hopefully they saw as much as possible. We also ran the Choose Your Own Adventure, Downtown Springfield. Just one quick little story about that. Don't use the phrase choose your own adventure, because you will get a cease and desist from the Choose Your Own Adventure booklets, because they've got that copyrighted. Anywho, we also ran the Seasons of Light. That was in particular with a lot of different businesses taking part in that this year. We will also be doing that again this year. That's also one of the ones we do a lot of work with our Latinx businesses. We ran literary events, Dark and Stormy and at 100 Mile and at Public House. We keep on doing partnerships with Spring Film and Bike Safety Month and things like that. If you were at the Block party, we were down there at the Block. That was a great night. We also take part with Willama Lane with the different things they do. We're a member of a bunch of the different chamber committees, and then we've got various businesses who host signs of ours. Another big thing during COVID was trying to increase job seeking and training resources. We gave access to BrainFuse Job Now, access to Learning Express, access to Treehouse Coding. Before COVID, we were hosting Goodwill job seeker interviews in the library, as well as Goodwill and WorkSource programs in the library as well. I'm going to highlight the databases in a second, a bit more. Right now, for businesses, databases that could really help you. A to Z databases, Treehouse, Mango Languages, BrainFuse Job Now, and then Gale Business Entrepreneurship and Job and Career Accelerator. I'm going to very, very quickly show folks our online resources, wheremindsgrow.org. Don't look up Springfield Public Library .com because you'll end up in Minnesota or somewhere else. But wheremindsgrow.org, there are 27 different Springfield Public Libraries in this country at least. Online resources. Scroll down to this one here, A to Z databases. This is basically the white pages, but if you are looking at ways that you want to find some people in the area, so this is just really quick. For example, I'll do an advanced search and I want to look at Springfield. Come on. Oregon. All right. Come on. Okay. And let's say I want to look up everybody who is aged 40 to 49, whose home market value is $175,000 to $199,000. And search. And that gives me 1,265 people, and it gives their phone numbers and those kind of things, gives their addresses. So if you are looking at reaching out to new businesses, and new patrons and those kind of things, you can find all that. You can also really quickly do a search for a business, and it gives you business information. It also gives you information about their competitors. So if you're looking to start a new business, looking to see who it is, who's in your field, you can find it that way. In terms of upskilling, this is a really important one. This is called Treehouse. If you are looking for your staff to upskill, or they're looking at different ways of training themselves, particularly if you're looking at some online things, we are the first and possibly only public library in Oregon to offer Treehouse. It is online coding and skills and those kind of things. It starts you off, you can start very basically with, what is a website and those kind of things, digital literacy, all the way through Ruby, Python, teaching about C++ and computer science, learning how to do Android if you're trying to set up your own app for your businesses and those kind of things. It's got information on equity, diversity, and inclusion. It's a really great resource that we are offering, and we'd really love more people to be involved with that. Mango Languages is a lot like Duolingo. It doesn't have the annoying little owl. BrainFuse Job Now is another way for your staff and yourself to work at different things. It's got career help. It's got resume building, those kind of things. Gale Business Entrepreneurship is a bit more academic. Job and Career Accelerator. Upcoming projects, we're going to be running Seasons of Light again. So we'll be reaching out to businesses to see if they would like to host a donation box as they did last year, if they would like to host a display. One of the things about the displays, there'll be more information coming about that, but we'll also be having a little downtown tour where people can take a bit of paper and wander around downtown and look in people's windows and those kind of things. Going to be hosting the Dynamic Library billboards again, probably in summer. I'm also looking about trying to have another downtown kind word, like a crossword, but with kind words instead, to encourage people to wander around downtown, do some window shopping, and just know about what is going on. As and when we can have in-person programs, we will have in-person programs. Here are my contact details. There's my email. My direct line is 2238. Please leave a message or call 3766. And that is a World War II era carrier pigeon that I always just like to share because I think it's a really cool picture. Okay, please, please, please reach out to me as and when you can. Oh yeah, I'm done.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Mark. I always enjoy having you come to the downtown meetups. You always have really fun things to share, and I know our downtown businesses always enjoy working with you and working with the library, and it gives us an opportunity also to know what's coming up so we can share that with the downtown businesses as well. So thank you again. Appreciate you coming. I always appreciate how enthusiastic you are. And I'm going to turn it over to Jaime from Huerta de la Familia, and just to share a little bit about what he's been up to and his role at Huerta.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. This is great. I'm getting a lot of more information that I can share with my clients. Thank you. My name is Jaime Covarrubias. I work for Huerta de la Familia as a Latino business navigator here in Lake County. As a former business owner, it is my pleasure to assist Latino businesses in our county by connecting them to each other and to programs that provide relief from the financial burdens of COVID-19. As we know, the community, the Latino community, are struggling with the effect of the pandemic. I mean, everybody, but there happen difficult to apply for the government, state, and city resources. So what I'm doing is to connect them, helping to connect, give them information to the businesses so they can get help. One of the things that has been helping me a lot is to provide the businesses so I can get together or closer and get confident and trust from the businesses that they can start sharing the information. So by doing this, I've been reaching a lot of businesses and getting information from them to help them, in order to help them. All this information is confidential for people. The funds are getting low. There's still some available to maybe have a good answer, but it's getting low. What else? Well, I wish you have some questions for me. Our community is having a lot of cultural barriers, so people don't know how to get the help. So that's how that's why I'm here to help them, you know. And then sometimes the people, they don't hear enough information from the news, so they can't apply. So that's also another problem. The applications are not phone friendly. Also, it's a problem for our community. The policy like first come first serve. It's also a problem. It's difficult, but the good thing is that a lot of people are being applying. I've been assisting like more than 100 businesses, and 93 out of the businesses are not associated with Huerto La Familia, so they're all new. 63 are associated with or already clients from Huerto La Familia, which we already give them some help. So it's more than 100 businesses that will be missing. So yeah, I would like to hear a little bit more about what you guys have, some other resources that you know, and I can share with my clients, please. Thank you.
And I think it's just great for everybody to know that there really isn't a wrong door. If you're watching this and you're seeing different folks on the screen, Jaime is a huge resource to us and has direct line to all the partners on here so that we can just share quicker and have access more effectively. So if you have questions at any of this information, even if it's a question about what you heard from Lane County, feel free to reach out to Jaime and he can put you in touch. Or if you have a question about something going on in downtown, you can reach out to Lane County. We will always be able to sort of respond and connect with one another. So just make sure you have that resource. And Jaime, we're just so glad to have you on board and also helping deliver the protective equipment and just making that relational visit. It means a lot to us and we couldn't be happier to have you on the team.
Thank you. I'm so happy for help and then got help from you guys too. I appreciate it.
I echo what Courtney said. We've been just super thrilled to have you as part of our team. And I think a lot of the work that we've been able to partner on and stuff that we've not, it's all just been really good community work. So looking forward to, our relationship continuing for many, many years. I think it's just great. So I'm going to send it over to Mr. Lynn now from CLW to share with us a little bit of information on his end.
Perfect. Thanks, Mahana. Appreciate you having us. Community Lending Works, for those of you that are not familiar with us, are a community development loan fund. We're located in Springfield, and we help provide, in this context, business capital to existing businesses, startup businesses. We really classify ourselves as a micro lender, and it's really providing that capital from a few $1,000s up to $100,000 that we're willing to work with. In 2020, we found ourselves pretty busy with doing emergency grants, emergency loans for business stabilization early in COVID. 2021 started off a lot of the same, but we've continued to pivot into what we'd call our more traditional business lending activities. So I wanted to leave you with a couple messages. The first one is very blunt. We have capital and we would love to talk to you. So we're actively looking to make business loans. And I'm really proud to announce, some of the folks on the call might know this, but we have launched a pilot business program that addresses collateral. Traditionally, when businesses are looking to take out a loan, whether it's to pivot their business, take on a new line of business, or even start a business, collateral always seems to be the biggest barrier. How do I come up with enough collateral to be able to make the lender address my loan request seriously? So from our standpoint, we have two different products that I want to let you know. If you're an existing business and you are looking for capital, we potentially can lend down to 50% collateral. If you are a startup business, we could potentially offer that loan at 60% collateral. And I say potentially because every business is different, every scenario is a little bit different, but those are really critical barriers to cross right out of the gate. is that sometimes is one of the things that stops a business from even seeking capital, is they know that they need that collateral, especially if businesses have pivoted. And like Austin said earlier, how we did business pre-pandemic probably isn't how we're doing it today. That could mean that we have less of a brick and mortar type style. It could be more online, it could be more takeout. So we don't have all the traditional equipment or things that we would offer as collateral. And I would say this, let that be a barrier. If you have curiosities, never hesitate to reach out to myself or anyone on my team. If you're seeking a loan or you just want to inquire, the most efficient way to get hold of us is communitylendingworks.org. We're still working primarily remotely. Here at a soon day, I say soon because it was supposed to be in September. We're going to go to more of a hybrid model and be back in the office, but kind of have that paused right now with everything that's going on. But we are reachable Monday through Thursday from 7:30 in the morning till 6 at night. So thank you, Vahana. That is kind of what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Lynn. Always great information from you. And that's great information on the collateral. That's definitely been a thing in the past. All right, so I'm going to keep us moving because I know we're coming up towards the deadline here. So I'm going to toss it over to Bonnie and the ladies at the chamber. Bonnie, did you say that you wanted to screen share?
Yes, if you could, I'll do that. But while we're getting there, so Bonnie Mickelson, Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and two of our team are on with me today. Paige Sharp, who is our Director of Development and Talent Initiatives, and Paige works on leadership development programs, as well as our really critical Work Ready initiative that we launched about 4 years ago when Paige came on board. And I'll bring everybody up to speed on how we pivoted in that opportunity to pivot and work with our employers this year over the last year. Paige is Danny Thompson is our economic development specialist, and Danny wears a number of different hats. She works on larger economic development opportunities under our Springfield Community Development Corporation efforts, as well as our Economic Development Committee efforts. And I just kind of go where everybody tells me to go. But one thing that I wanted to, I'm going to screen share, probably just kind of walk around and identify maybe 2 or 3 really, I think, interesting resources from our website, because I think that we've made an effort to put a lot of our assets that we can, resources for businesses, obviously, and community organizations on our website this last year. And so I think I'll point out a couple of them. Some of them you may already be aware of, and some that you may not. And under our Business Resource Hub, we've collected a number of different by category resource centers. Now, this is basically for folks to navigate around, see if they can find something. Courtney mentioned the Back to Business Guide, which we worked with regional partners last year to provide a easy to follow guide with all those. If you remember back in April or so on, it was not so easy to understand. This was our first go around. I think a lot of this is still pretty helpful. And yet, even as things changed, we know that there's a lot of reasons to come back and ask for, help. And like Austin mentioned, the last thing any of our businesses we think need to do is spend a lot of time looking for information. It's always just as easy to pick up the phone call. And we're still here, and we're here Monday through Friday, and we can be available for anyone who thinks that they have a question that they can't quite get to the bottom of. We have a number of other things here. We did work last year on some wildfire relief grants, and we continue to pull dollars into the local community from both local nonprofits as well as state, and get those out to our community partners and neighbors up the McKenzie River primarily. So we're really excited about that if anyone needs some information. One thing that we often tend to neglect to say, and I think it's really important because it's unique to the Springfield Chamber, not all chambers offer this, but this chamber insurance plans. And going into the fall, and especially as we're looking at recruiting for talent, small businesses have a hard time finding affordable healthcare plans. And this particular plan that we have had in place for a few years now, it's very successful. The Springfield Chamber is actually participating in this plan. So we know it works very well. Pacific Source is the healthcare insurance provider. It's a association plan, and we have quite a few of our members participating, finding benefit. It's very affordable, it's competitive, and again, it's meant for smaller businesses. So anywhere from generally 5 employees, but we've known some businesses that have fewer employees that have participated. Up to 100, 150 is generally the sweet spot for benefits. So I think that's deserving of mentioning there. You can always just give us a call and we can put you in touch with the agents that are assigned to sell those programs, or you can take a look around here. Another area that we've worked really hard on, our committees, our Work Ready Committee continues to meet and has worked with local K-12 as well as our employers and our community partners, including our library. And the library, like you heard from Mark, has some incredible resources for workforce and work folks both looking for work and those that are looking to find employees. So we put, sorry, let me go to the Career Hub first under Workforce and Talent. It's a central hub of places. This is for our small businesses if they would like to list an opening. We work with a recruitment professional business that's also a member of the chamber that provides a very specific service that gets their job posting out on multiple boards with one form. So they'll go out, I can't remember, Paige, if it's 10 or 100. I know it's almost every one of them. You can fill in the blanks, Paige, if I go off course here. Folks can also, of course, look on here for jobs that have been posted. And if you click on here, you'll see we have usually up to 100 jobs listed for various organizations, all local employers. We also have this great thing that we did, this online student resource. And for folks that are looking to engage with and just sort of connect with our Work Ready program in a way that's really pretty easy, we've provided this online company profile form to fill out. And I'll show you what that looks like on the back end in a minute here. But it gives students an opportunity. We work with the Springfield Public Schools and those students working with their teachers in class or their counselors to kind of get an idea of what kind of local employers are out there, what they recommend for their education pathway, what the jobs would look like, what other advice for them. It's really a great little new thing that we came up this year, and it's a very easy way for our members and businesses to participate. You can see a number of different, that Mark mentioned some of these, working with our University of Oregon partners. And I can't even see my page. Other employer guides, Handshake is another one that I think Mark mentioned, and SBDC. So we've got some great resources here. Just quickly, because I mentioned at this career exploration online, again, you see the variety of companies, and you can see here, for example, Advanced Cabinet Designs. They came in, they filled that profile form out. Students get to learn a little bit about the organization, any career opportunities or types of jobs are available, what kind of education and training is recommending, if there's a job shadow or internship opportunity, who to contact, and just some general advice for someone looking to work in the industry. So we highly recommend that. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind, you see all different kinds of companies listed here. Jasper's is on here. It's a great opportunity, I think, just a simple way to promote your business, but also your industry. So one final thing I do want to point out, because reaching the public beyond just who may be within the chamber membership, but the public at large is something that we take seriously, and we think we have a great story to tell in our chamber community. And so the Springfield Bottom Line is our online news source. And this is available. We control this internally here at the chamber. We have a great marketing communications director, Elora Kelsch, and we curate stories from within our community and within our membership around a vast array of topics, but you'll see some of those highlighted here, the Hispanic Heritage Month. We do a lot of advocacy work. You can find a whole list of legislative updates that we do during session, and just community in general. So members have access to submit their own public release, their own articles and media releases, and we just plug them right in there for them. And the access is fabulous. It's obviously 24/7, 365, available on the World Wide Web. So I'm going to stop there, and let's probably, I think, one of our great resource partners, Robert Killingo, but I'll send it back to you, Vahana, in case you want to.
I was going to say, I heard you say it. I heard you say SBDC, and I thought, oh, what a great transition. So I'm going to toss that on over to Robert. Robert, did you have a slide, or did you want me to just put your slide? Okay, perfect. I'll put my slide back up and you can begin speaking.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm actually teaching in 60 seconds. So I'm going to make this really, really quick. The SBDC, we provide free and confidential advising as well as training from anybody who's just got an idea to those who've been in business for years but really need to deepen their management acumen. I will note, since we did want to talk about COVID resources, thankfully, most of those resources are now kind of in their waning days. But I will point out that the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, has been broadened for purposes of access and number, the dollar amount. And you can now utilize that loan to refinance existing commercial debt. It's not always a good idea, but for some, it could be hugely beneficial. So that is a resource that's still out there for businesses who are currently needing more capital, and they can reach out to us to get that or to apply for it. I've put in the chat 3 links. One is lanesbdc.com, where you can find out more about our resources. The one that ends up Lane Business Link is a collection of over 50 different resource partners within the region who can help businesses. So as Courtney was saying, there really is no wrong door. Our job is to be able to get people to the right resource when they need it. And finally, you've got a link to me personally if you have any questions about the SBDC, about anything we have to offer, or how we can partner better. So I'm going to leave it at that because I've got to get to class. All right.
Robert.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you to Robert, and I'm glad he was able to throw that all in there, and I appreciate his time doing that. So that pretty much wraps up our time. So you're welcome to go if you're on this meeting live. I do just want to say thank you to all of you for all of our community partners, and to all of our attendees and everybody who's watching this at a later date. We're grateful for all of you, and I think our community is stronger when we're all a part of it. And I've been really proud to see how we've all been able to work together and just keep things running wonderfully, and at least the best of our abilities. And we've had a lot to deal with, and I'm just really proud of our business communities and our resources as a whole for coming together and working together during this time. I'll echo what everybody said, over and over and over. There is no wrong door to reach out to any one of us. We will get you to the right person, we'll get you the right answer, or we'll get you to the right resource. So with that being said, Courtney, did you have any wrap-up messages to share, or anybody else?
I think you did great. We'll make this presentation available along with a copy of all the links that we talked about throughout, so that you have that at your fingertips.
Thank you for everybody for attending, and it's nice to see everybody's faces after so many months.